All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for The Promised Neverland, Episode 6. Okay.
Children gonna be eaten.
Yeah, Gilda and Dawn...
They did a dumb.
Specifically,
Dawn did a dumb. Dawn did a dumb.
It makes sense why this happened, but this is something where we have to deal with the consequences of this, especially if this is Mom or Krone.
Right.
And this is the thing. It might not be either of them. It might just be Emma or just one of the little kids.
Right.
You know, there might be all kinds of
Norman just being like, what did we just tell you? You know?
Yeah. But now that Ray is in the group and he is at the very least willing to cooperate on the first two things that Norman requested of him.
Although he did sort of flip it around on Norman and saying like, hey, but when it comes right down to it, we're leaving the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, that'll be interesting. Yeah. But Emma pulled her awesome.
Emma was awesome.
Like, you won't do that again, will you?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's something that I love that we've already got the three of them kind of with little barbs pointed at each other, you know, just like, hey,
right.
Hey, that's good. But, when it comes down to it, I think Ray definitely just, like, doesn't really feel like he can really rely on any of them to maybe do what it'll take, you know.
But hopefully that means that he's predictable.
I would say on some level he's probably going to be a little bit more predictable for us, but I'd say if anything he is the least predictable of all of them because of the way he revealed the casual aspect of being an informer to Emma.
Yeah.
So I would hope that he'll be more predictable, but in some ways what we have in the past is not as not as obvious. So this show, y'all. Mm-hmm. So here we go into episode 6. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, everyone, we're going to be starting the episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. All right, the little animation title card here. Now. Yep.
I want to see that face on Emma, like the angry face.
And like sad anger, though.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I think we need more kids to die then. So you sure you want to see that?
Yes.
Fire.
Oh boy.
Oh, I just realized something. What? They gave them color codes. Orange, blue, and red. And actually, if you think about color code kind of personality stuff, orange is the life, the sun, the warmth, and everything.
Right. And then blue
is not cold, actually. Blue is the knowledge and just the kind of the peace, kind of the
Mm-hmm.
But red is the killer. I love that drop, by the way.
That drop is
I'm just
amazing.
Saying, red is actually more the passion, the competitiveness. Oh, that's so good. Oh boy. Hey, all three of them broke through though.
None of the kids were there though.
I know, but okay, well, who is it? We're going to get so debated, aren't we? Yes! Oh, wow. Good! Phil! Oh my God.
That would actually be a good excuse.
Yeah, we're all playing hide and seek. Yeah, there you go. Ah. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Good. Mm-hmm. I love how far ahead they're thinking on this. It's so good. What is the truth of this world?
Uh-huh.
Wait. Wait, what? Nice. Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh.
You think she won't notice?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. But just the fact that she's on like high alert right now. Okay. What are those camera angles focusing on the numbers? Wait. Wait, what? What? Coded messages in books?
All right.
I'm all about that, but now crap.
Morse code.
No way.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh, crap. Oh, crap.
They're so dead.
Yeah.
That might be good for the others, though, because...
Oh, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Dang it. I hope they learn actually something good that can be passed on before they get...
Killed,
yeah, but... Wow. 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 That's awesome. So there's people out there that know about what's going on. Yeah.
It's the promised Neverland.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Someone that escaped. That has to be it. Like years ago, maybe. Okay. Just more books. Some creepy toys. Oh, Connie's bunny. Wow. Oh, okay.
Oh, there we go. That is a creepy bunny.
That is... Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, dang. But she keeps them instead of, like, burning them or something. Oh.
No.
Well, now
there's another?
Now they're definitely dead. Oh, that's awesome. Yes, please. The way they keep cutting back. Oh my gosh. Oh. Yep. Yep.
Close the trapdoor. Close the trapdoor.
Because if they don't know what they've... Yeah, it's too late,
it's possible
though.
that they could hide down there, you know?
Oh, come on.
Maybe, you know, wait for her to leave and...
Yep. No, that was cool.
Tell me, they didn't close the trapdoor?
No, they're in the trapdoor.
Right, but...
Shh. Oh my god.
Wow. Oh my god. No. What?
So Norman, Emma, or Ray are going to bump into Mom's door and distract her. Yep, yep. Oh, they sent one of the little kids.
Nice. Nice.
What?
But Don took it, so...
So, once he opened it, he gave it to a kid to distract her? So, that might have been a next level... Whoa. Ray, like, shuts down all of his aggression and just being like, where were you? Like, you screwed up. Shh, quiet, kids, quiet. Okay, there you go. Yeah. Yep.
They're making Don look really angry.
Of course he is.
Well, right, but...
Wow. Jeez.
Well, given how you responded, yes.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah. Understandable.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So who's watching them?
This music,
Mm-hmm.
He's like, Oh.
Is he though?
Yeah.
I mean, no shit. They're meeting with a lantern outside, right outside the house.
I know. I know. Yeah. He's like, wow, you're still thinking about that. Now, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
Norman, I can tell when you're lying.
Yeah, let me handle that. Yeah. Ray's reporting in. Wow.
Gotcha. And they need to, like, clean up afterwards.
Yeah. Crap. Huh.
Whoa.
Whoa. Wow. Okay. Oh. Oh. Oh, she's putting the pressure on him to test his loyalty. Mm-hmm. That's genius. Mm-hmm. Because she's patient here.
Right.
Oh my god!
There's Krone.
Oh, here she is!
There's Krone.
Oh, here she is! Yeah. Yep.
Kill Mom for me.
Here we go. Okay.
I thought maybe they were going to do something where it's like, well, yeah, that's why we're talking out in public, and we lured you out here alone or something.
Here's the part of it that I think is actually the next level bit, Jacob, is that you're right. That if you think about Krone, what animal does she remind you of?
No idea.
Wild dog.
Okay.
She's got a sniff of basically the meat, basically.
Right.
And it's like the bloodhound knows.
She's starved and hungry, so she'll turn on her master.
Exactly. Yeah. So you don't basically stretch out a hand to a wild dog. You give them a bone.
Right.
And you give the bone very obviously and solitary alone, meaning that Krone is going to be manipulated like no other.
Right. Well, yeah.
And it's just a thing of her being loud and rambunctious, and they were thinking about a way that would be a plan to distract
Mom.
It
would be Krone.
Krone is the perfect distraction.
Yeah.
Like if they can outmaneuver her into basically being not just a blunt object blundering around and causing problems for Mom, but actually leveraging their knowledge of what of what the situation is here to make it so that they would never have her turn against them. Oh, those owls were in the EV.
Yeah, wow.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so this episode had a different style to it. Did you notice that? Yeah. They brought up the whole books thing in a very much like, this has never been mentioned before, and it's just boom, it's here, it's a plot point.
It's something that Emma figured out, and there you go. Yeah.
And I think that's to show the passage of time between episode 1 and now, to showcase that she's been utilizing her also genius knowledge
in her own different way.
Right, to scope out the farm itself. Right. And basically get a sense of her environment and what she can work with.
Yeah.
And I like that this is just something that, it came up in my like my passive 25 perception, except for when people, that's actually another thing. Oh, shoot.
What?
No, it makes sense then that Emma would come up with this idea.
Okay.
The more and more they showcase their types of intelligence, right? It was something that I was always wondering, like, what's Emma's? Like,
it's intuition.
It's intuition, yeah.
Right.
But if you have intuition, one of the dumbest things to be would be what you were saying, is standing out in the front area of the farm with a light on, having them all there talking about this and having this be a thing of obvious emotional bonding.
Right.
So she's killing two birds with one stone, basically saying that she
does all the time. We've seen her do this.
Yes, she does this very well. And
it gives Krone the idea that she's got one over on them, right?
Right.
Haha, I've beaten you. That way she won't suspect that this is Keikaku Dori all along.
But this is also something where they shouldn't tell Rei this, because Rei will have to directly attack Krone in a lot of ways. Because Rei is kind of the personal hound of, like, the trained hound of Mom.
Right,
and Krone is the wild new dog coming in.
If he doesn't know certain things, then that helps. And also if just because his loyalty, is questionable.
Well, it also protects Rei.
Yes.
So that he can act upon this as like I don't know what's going on. Krone is making a direct move, and we need to basically work with this here. And I am risking myself out here to give this information to you now, because now Krone is watching me as and also as much as he's watching the other four.
Right, and also,
or she is watching the other four.
Well, or Ray's watching them too.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
But Rei is also in danger from Mom. His mom did the smart thing of like, hey, your 12th birthday's coming up.
2 months.
2 months, yeah.
Yeah, you have a deadline, buddy.
Right. Yeah.
So basically
or
what she's saying is...
shipments. We don't know if the shipments are every month or not.
Well, they usually...
Have they said?
I think they said at one point that they have a regular schedule for shipments, and they more or less kind of check to see if they need a shipment. And then
it's probably not. It's probably not every month because that makes sense. Because since that there's 38 or 34 or whatever, it's under 40, right? And they're there for 10 years, say, that 1 month
they would run out.
Yeah, they would run out.
Yeah. Okay, so but it's more of, I think, a thing of like saying, in this next month, are we going to have one? And they say yes or no. And they basically give her maybe a few months' notice. And it's like, the next one will be in January. It's like, your birthday. And I think what she's saying is basically, better give me something good really soon.
Yeah. Otherwise, that'll be you.
Because you seem to be giving me kind of average stuff, nothing really special.
But you know what
anymore.
it also is? Is it's basically tantalizing him with a promotion. Because if he's not on that shipment, if he does do well, well, then he's going past when he should be shipped out by the deadline. So what happens to him then?
Or maybe he's already suspected what we've come to suspect with Mom, and that shipping out doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing.
Exactly.
Is that shipping out could be, you got promoted.
Yep. Congratulations.
Yeah, you get to go through initiation.
You get to go to school now.
Yeah. High school. Well, I guess it would be middle school. But yeah, because their high school starts at 15, so it'd be 13, 14. Yeah. Okay. Or 12, 13, 14. But oh my God. So, all right. The outside world, that's their focus right now. They didn't get to do any kind of reconnaissance from like a high tree
not really
top or anything like that. Now, my thing is that I feel like in order to do proper reconnaissance, they actually have to have the ability to leave and then come back in.
Right.
Now, this might be a thing that they can't do because of the tracking devices.
Potentially, yeah.
And in some level, maybe that's something that the tracking devices work to their advantage. If all their movements are rather predictable, and Mom sees them coming up pretty close to the wall on her little tracker thing, she's just like, they're doing their thing, like Ray said. Cool. As long as their movements are consistent with Ray's knowledge going back there, Mom feels comfortable and feels safe. It's once things start to diverge from that determined path,
right,
things will start to get a little bit dicey.
Yeah, when she might start questioning Ray and being like, "Are you sure you're telling me everything?" Or they're really making a lot of progress.
Yeah.
Why aren't you sabotaging them more? Like, come on, are you really on my side?
Yeah. I think on some level this is something that we need to remind ourselves that Mom is that good. Like,
yes.
She is that good in that she's one of the best of her type.
This
basically.
is not her first rodeo. There is a very decent possibility that this is a fairly regular occurrence where people find out. The older ones, especially, where they get to that age where they start to question things.
Especially if they're cultivating intelligence in any way.
So maybe even the whole point of Ray finding out is something that she has as an intentional thing. Where
scenario 4.
Well, it's not even scenario 4. It's precaution 4. It's the idea that I'm going to make sure that one of them, who I know is more like... basically self-oriented, right?
Sure.
Finds out, and then I cultivate them as a spy in case anyone else finds out, right? Yeah. And then if they do find out, then I use them to try and keep it under control and everything, and also potentially to guide them so that they,
But the idea that could have happened from when Ray was 5 years old, that just hurts my brain
because maybe the
Ray thinks he volunteered.
Well, right, exactly, because at some point he found out, but who's to say?
Well,
how we don't know
he
how
didn't find out.
Well, no, we know he found out somehow, and that's why he volunteered.
He made a logical question based on the inconsistencies, right? Did he say that he actually kind of found out? Like,
I believe he said that he found out.
Yeah, that was in the previous episode. I'll do that real quick. We'll keep going with your
but
thought.
Because that could also have just been something where the previous spy basically outlived their usefulness, right? They went through and got shipped out, right? Because it was status quo, nothing much was happening. Once that happens, then she's like, okay, cool. I've got a runner-up. I've got a secondary candidate. Ray. Awesome. And she, recruits him, if it's something where he figured it out, awesome, but if it's something where he somehow found out, right, then maybe that was information that was slipped to him subtly, and he thinks, oh my god, I know the secret, for my own self-preservation, I'm going to offer my services as a spy. Who knows? So
basically it says that you're not our enemy after all. It's like, I volunteered, I went to her. It's like, no, it's more accurate to say that I sold myself. It was all in preparation for this escape. The most efficient way to learn about it is gather things from their pocket. But there's nothing here that really says that he yeah. I mean, on some level, maybe I'm...
Because I don't see how he could have... I don't see how, from a long time ago... Yeah, I don't see how he could have, pieced it together just from, first principles without some kind of additional information.
Yeah. Oh, and it says, you knew about everything and assisted Mom this whole time.
Right.
See, he kind of doesn't really give a lot of his origin information out.
Right, and that's something that I've always been curious about, because that's a big question. How did he come to find out? Because it's not just the idea that he decided to be the spy, but the idea that it was brought up that there would need to be a spy is something rather interesting, because Mom wouldn't, I don't think Mom would just tell one of the kids,
right,
hey, by the way, this is how it is, and you want to be a spy for me? That just, yeah, it's something that might be good to keep in the back of our minds, is that in a lot of ways Ray is a bit too confident. Yes.
And while I think that that's actually not the case internally, I think on some level what Ray's strength is that he can suppress his emotions and keep himself level-headed, and therefore determine the best course of action without really making a huge mistake. So that's kind of a thing that Norman has a little bit of trouble with, it seems, is that there's moments where he lets his emotion get a bit out of whack. Like, he's not able to keep it all stomach there. And I think that's because Norman is a recent, he became recently aware of the whole situation.
And there's the fact that he has someone else that he cares about that also is aware of this information.
Yeah, Emma. And Ray probably killed off a lot of his care for, others on that level a long time ago in order to be able to do things properly. But he does care about them in that, they're at the very least people that I've spent time with. Like, I can't erase that time.
Right. But it is still primarily, it seems, he cares about them because Emma cares about them, kind of a thing.
Are you talking about Norman or Ray now?
Norman.
Oh, I'm talking about Ray.
Oh,
yeah. I was talking about how Ray basically is someone that suppressed those emotions that Norman doesn't fully have a handle on yet. So Ray's confidence comes from believing that he can make the best decision. He's done this for 6 years.
He's handled this situation for a very long time.
Right.
Yeah. This is just another day at work.
And yet he was still caught by Norman. So on some level, he is very much fallible. Mm-hmm. And the only person that we haven't really seen make a mistake thus far is Mom.
Right. As far as we know.
Well, on some level, just the fact that this story is happening might be a mistake.
Might be that Mom made a mistake, but certainly in trusting Ray, because he offered to be her spy. So realistically, maybe it would have been much better for her to just ship him off early, unless this is something that has happened before, and she also is fairly used to the procedure.
Sure. So, also, can we talk about the idea that these books are they're not written by the person. Mm-hmm. I almost mistook them to say that the Minerva guy was the author, but it's actually Minerva was the owner of these books and put his stamp basically of these are my books on the inside the cover there.
Right.
But, there's a lot of books here, so I wouldn't assume that if one book comes in with an owl stamp on there, them to go, oh, this is obviously a problem.
Or this Minerva person is or was maybe a well-known, supplier or something like that. Mm-hmm. That maybe, I don't know. Who knows?
Because my thought is that if we have a society out there where humans are able to do their thing and such, right? Mm-hmm. These books that were in circulation would have to be taken by probably, as my guess, the demons, monsters, basically conquering a human colony, like a safe human place.
They plunder and
take plunder it. Mm-hmm. Then they take it and then they distribute the books, and some of them eventually end up at a farm, basically.
Right.
But there would be no reason for them to be intentionally sent here by William Minerva, I would say, with a subterfuge goal. It seems way too convoluted. No, I mean, there's a lot of...
Potentially.
There's potentially a way.
Because one of the things that I've been kind of curious about is when you think about a society, it takes so much just to keep it running, right?
Sure.
And the whole idea of, say, the kids in the farms and all that stuff, that is not economically viable for any large number of demons, right? Yep. The demons have said as such that that's for the higher-ups, right? They don't get to partake in that food. So what do the demons eat, right? How is the demon society upheld? I would not be surprised.
They just eat regular animals,
Sure, maybe, but I would not be surprised if it was something where they exist and sustain themselves by basically leeching off of the empire that was left before them, right?
And they're scavengers,
right? But the thing is that in order for that to not exhaust itself one day, they might need to leave the conquered, in certain places.
Form of harvesting.
Yeah, exactly, another form of harvesting. And they don't harvest, the people themselves, because maybe they're past that young stage or whatever.
They just come by and wipe them out and basically reset their civilization back to
exactly
Stone Age.
They take whatever they need, in order to keep their own empire going, but they use what's already there. Why reinvent the wheel?
Sure. I think that the main question, because I think that's really interesting to bring up, is that this book being just brought in seems like something that if it came from the outside, from a person that was never in a farm, basically. It seems odd that they would know about the farms, because I wouldn't assume there to be that many if it's premium food, right?
Sure.
So there's probably a number that we can count, basically, on either 2 or 3 hands or whatever.
Right.
Maybe I think we said out there there's probably no more than 50 or something.
Right, exactly.
It's a special number.
Considering that this is like farm number 3,
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
There might even be only a half dozen for all we know. But the idea that the stamps might have been applied from someone that was in here, I think can't be ruled out. So there's the tricky thing with the idea of the date. Like, it's the year that we're in, it's way in the future. It's like
2045.
2045, thank you.
Said, yeah.
But they brought up the idea of the last time that a book was, like, the earliest book that was published or what have you was from, 2015?
2015,
Yeah. And 2015 being, exactly 30 years earlier.
Yep.
That's something where I kind of go, okay, like, why are they bringing up that time specifically?
I think it's just that was a time before the aliens or demons or whatever took over. So that's the only literature that the demons want to allow to be, I don't know, like, circulated. Because with that, they don't have to worry about it being something where it's like, okay, let's check this to make sure there's no
mention of us.
Mention of us, right? Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, but I don't know, because that would also be weird if it's like they tell the kids it's 2045, but then all the literature goes up to 2015.
Yeah, why would they let the kids know that it's that, like, they could just lie and perpetually tell the kids, it's always, going to, like, they go on a cycle of, I guess there's a progression of them bringing in new kids that would then have to be told certain things.
And I think that's one of the main reasons why they send them out before they, or when they turn 12,
Okay.
At the latest, is because, once you get into that puberty stage, you start questioning things. Right?
A lot more.
That's
true.
And that would not be helpful when they want a farm.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so do you think that this this mark, this sticker, this whatever, this stamp, coded stamp is something that was put into the books before they were distributed into this farm or
after?
After.
I don't think it could have happened really at the farm, because the thing is that even if you're talking about like
what if it's just an artist that, created their own
potentially
thing
but I would say it's probably a lot more likely that it is an actual stamp of some kind.
Okay.
In order to make it really look uniform, with the exception of like those little bits. But in order to have it look uniform except for those little bits, like stamping something or however they do it, I don't think that's something that could be done covertly within the farm.
Okay.
Maybe.
I think you're right logically, because of another thing, that if they were put within the farm and Mom just stumbled upon one of the books one day,
she'd be like, why does
this have this stamp here? So if they were done outside, here's my next question for you. Do you think that this was done by a person in captivity in another type of location, like someone that was...
Or someone that was actually, like, free, more or less.
Yes, or someone that was free.
Or that at least believed they were free.
Well, regardless of whether or not they're free now, like they said, this person could be dead.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a person that was free when they put the stamps on these things?
I want to say yes, but here's the thing.
Okay.
The name of the show is The Promised Neverland.
Yes.
And one of the things they brought up was the promise, right?
Uh-huh.
Now... What this whole thing makes me think is that there's this idea of the promised land, but it's the promised Neverland because they'll never get there, or it doesn't exist, or it's all a lie, or whatever, right?
Right. There's the obvious connotations of the farm being the promised Neverland because they'll never grow up here.
Right. Yes. That's
kind of the simple version. But if you go into your version, it's the next level thing.
Exactly. The fact that there's that. The person from the outside is, says the word promised, means that it's talking probably about something outside trying to pass information, rather than giving a specific name that is kind of arbitrary about the farms that they're in, right?
Right. And this might just be the first code. Is that, that Emma's intuition led her to this book, which means it's probably going to be important, and it's not they're going to waste time by saying, oh, there's a hunch. It's like, raise a little, you know.
Yeah.
So there's a book here, and I gotta tell you guys, I love cryptology. I love codes and puzzles and all this stuff. Like if this story goes into that, and they have basically a code book that was left behind by someone who's like a wandering, like freedom fighter. That totally just sounds so badass and awesome. And if they were free and they're still free or what have you, the idea that they knew about the farm, and yet instead of sending in some kind of, assistance to try and free one, which seems like it would be relatively easy to do, they're trying to work their way into the minds of the kids by basically leaving an eternal clue that if anyone ever basically discovers it, it will incept in them the idea that they need to be freed and they need to get out.
And now, I'm still holding on to the idea that this is all just another mental exercise to sweeten them up for the emperor of the demons or whatever.
Yeah, what was it? Tefari.
No, Tefari.
Yeah. That's the event, I think.
Right.
Yeah. They had some kind of event that they were building up towards, but they mentioned him and stuff. So
exactly.
That's probably the grand demon or whatever.
Right. The Great Eclipse or something. But
this conversation and stuff with Dawn and Gilda. Do you like though that on some level the stupidity of it being done in such a way is actually a 4D chess trap for Krone specifically?
Yes.
Does that kind of help recontextualize it as being actually smart rather than just being kind of like, oh my god, really?
But here's something else that I want to bring up that they did with Dawn. They had Dawn do basically the sort of stupid overreaction that is understandable given the extremity of the situation, right? But what he was specifically saying, and they brought it up afterwards with the talk later, and I'm really glad that they did. But basically, Dawn was saying, why didn't you depend on us, right? How could you not depend on us, right? And yet his very reaction, he knows that he is basically blowing up and just sort of taking it out on, Norman and Ray and the rest of them, right? Which is his way of basically saying, I don't want to deal with this. Please take this from me. You be the mature, calm ones because I know that you're able to do that. I don't believe I can.
Okay.
And I just thought that was a great sort of that was a great double entendre or parallel thing that they did there with that being a thing that is introduced as a concept. This idea that dealing with the perceived and in a lot of ways maybe self-perpetuated inadequacies of them with not being able to deal with these situations and depending on the three smart kids, right?
Okay,
and then also later Dawn coming to terms with that and acknowledging that that's what was happening, right?
So, but it still wasn't intentional then, because he wasn't able to acknowledge that what was happening until later.
Sure. So maybe it was a subconscious
emotional
thing, right?
Overreaction.
Sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Right. But the idea that because the thing that happens with Dawn, right? In a lot of stories, that kind of thing is used for melodrama, right? Of the overreaction that is excusable because of the extenuating circumstances. But if the person were to sit back and think about it for a second, they would very quickly be like, okay, all right, let's think rationally about this. So the fact that they had that in there, but then they had Dawn reflect on that in the very same episode, that did a lot for me for liking Dawn as a character, because in the moment I was just like, all right, well, here we have a resident idiot that's just going to cause trouble, so I was really glad that they put that in there.
So do you see what he did independent of the explanation afterwards as being stupid or?
Oh, absolutely.
But do you see it as being a thing that's bad writing? Because it seemed like you were equivocating. Character does stupid things means it's bad writing.
Not necessarily, but the thing is that they have set up these characters, even if the other ones don't necessarily get perfect scores, to be being groomed to be intelligent, right?
Right, but Dawn wasn't one of the geniuses.
No, I know.
Okay.
But the idea that, and there's only so much patience I have for stupid characters that are so obviously like basically saying, hey, we can do stuff too, and immediately being stupid in the same breath.
Okay, but is that bad writing?
It's not bad writing, but it's not entertaining. So since writing is done for the purposes of entertainment or exploration, right?
Oh, okay.
If you have the stuff that isn't entertaining and give that a lot of screen time without exploring why you're specifically putting in that thing that is less entertaining, right? Then I would say that's bad writing.
Okay.
Right? Because you're like, even if it's something that might be realistic, we don't go to stories for realism, right? And if we do go to stories for realism, we go for the exploratory realism. So the fact that they had something that might be realistic in there, if they didn't have the exploration of that and the introspection that was so quickly afterwards, then I would be disappointed by it.
Right, because one of the things that I think that this show is actually doing here that's kind of difficult for me to catch on to is that when I see something happening in the story and the characters are doing something, there's thinking going on that I'm not privy to. And an example of this is how we probably, and I think we did catch on to it pretty quickly, is that this is all a trap for Krone.
Right.
But it wasn't until Krone showed up and revealed, I was watching this whole time, being like, oh, of course. Right. But in some ways, Jacob, we are assuming here. We are assuming that Krone is, on some level, being lulled into a trap here.
Right. Well, what we're truly assuming is that these kids are as intelligent as they have been built up to be, and they wouldn't do something as stupid as a lantern-lit conversation in the dark outside in plain view of the house. And
So also on some level, does that go back even further to Dawn's outburst? Because she said she was watching in the dining hall. I'm just saying.
I think that might be attributing a little bit too much to Dawn.
Well, I don't agree. I don't agree.
Because here's
I think it's about as good. It's about the same logical jump in terms of assumptions as meaning that if the other kids are there, that makes all of them in some ways potentially as not foolhardy, but it makes them, I would say, liable to the same kind of, hey, wait, why are they even doing this at all out here in the first place?
And then the way that they could have this work, because the big issue with something like this is coordination between the kids. Right?
Yes.
How do you communicate in a way that you know what's going on, but Mom and Krone don't? Now,
I would say off screen.
Right, off screen. Now, doing it between the three kids, right? Because I don't think that Dawn could fake really that response, because I think he is very much an emotionally led person.
But I think they might have known that, and that is why they told him the truth.
Right, and
which means they were expecting that kind of a response.
Sure.
And it would be loud and it would attract Krone.
Well, and maybe they made sure that Krone was there even before it started.
Who knows?
Like,
But does that not in some ways make Dawn's actions there something that doesn't even necessarily need the follow-up as much, because the follow-up is just a connection point for the plan.
Sure.
And in some ways, they're kind of using Dawn in a way to be this loud, blustering kind of and tool.
Right. And they could have so they could have still done it without the introspection, and I still would have ended up being satisfied, but I would not have been satisfied in the moment. It would have come when they do the reveal
later.
Yeah, we were counting on you doing that, right? And then it's like, okay, that's sort of the way that Dawn fits into this story.
And it would be frustrating a little bit because there'd be a non-zero chance that never happens at all.
Right, exactly.
And so we would just have to hope.
Right. So it would retroactively make up for it, but the thing is that in the moment you would still have to put up with the fact that this isn't entertaining and that there doesn't seem to be a good reason for it to be here.
So my approach with this, specifically keeping all that in mind, is I'm thinking that this show is trying to basically walk on the fine thread, basically thread the needle of giving kids the time to coordinate, strategize, plan, and basically just talk in a room about their stuff so that we as the audience are aware of what they're thinking, but then have actions be made that are, for, in some ways, yes, the purpose of stirring up drama, because these characters have conflicting motivations, desires, and knowledge also.
Sure.
So that when I would say kind of the capitulation of their thinking and actions and the drama and stuff is had, we know that those things happened to build up to that. It wasn't something that just came out of nowhere. The planning behind it was something that we didn't see, but it's something that maybe with the pacing of the story, they can't actually show it without going into basically just entire episodes of them just talking about plans.
And let's be real, they did actually show a lot of planning without actually showing the details of the planning. Sure. The conversation between Norma and Emma and everything with the laundry and all that stuff and being like, is this what we're going to do? Right. Anytime you basically say in a story that a plan has been communicated, but you don't say what the plan is, that means it's going to work.
Yep.
Right? Because otherwise you don't know where the plan went wrong when it goes wrong, right?
This is the big brain right here.
And you want it to be surprising when everything goes well. So the fact that they had that, it's kind of like giving a hall pass to the audience and basically saying, hey, some stuff's going to happen, but the heroes will make it out okay in the end, right?
Yeah, or at the very least, the plan will work.
Right, whatever the plan is. So the things that are about to happen are, maybe with some room for
creative
deviation,
liberties and stuff,
all sort of part of the plan.
All according to Cake.
Right, especially since they've established these kids to be very smart. Yeah. So, then it's like, okay, they're going to do something smart. Why are they doing something so stupid? Oh, gotcha. Okay.
It's actually something smart.
Right.
And I like those types of stories, but like you're saying here, it is tricky to ride the line of giving creative creative room for the characters to be the characters and not just scheme heads where they basically just talk about their keikaku and how it's all going to be keikaku.
Because also having emotional responses from characters is good, right? Because we need to remember that these people are kids.
And they're all being shipped off to be eaten.
Exactly. That's part of what keeps us grounded with these kids and rooting for these kids, because it makes them feel like actual kids and people, and we can sympathize with them, right? You just need to make sure that you don't that things are kept fun, because this is a very fun premise for a show. Also, probably the best example, the best reason, red flag, where we know, oh yeah, this is all according to plan, is what Ray says. Like, anytime Ray is sympathetic, we know, oh, okay, this is all a facade, right? Like, the whole thing of like, yeah, I'm sorry about that. It's like, okay, yeah, all right, Ray, you don't need to be so obvious about it. Like,
I think on some hand, another way of looking at that, because I do think that Ray was genuinely hurt when Emma did her move on Ray earlier in the previous episode. So I don't think he is completely detached from his care for at least the two of them. But I am with you in that everything is going according to his survival plan when he makes this move here. He doesn't see this as being something that threatens his survival rating, basically.
And he doesn't see this as being something where, oh no, I have to basically reconvince this emotional stupid person that almost put me in jeopardy, that they should not put me in jeopardy because, blah, 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 blah.
Okay, yes. The one thing, though, that I wanted to bring up that was in the episode that kind of just makes me go, wait, hold on, is that when they have their thing of, do we tell Ray about this? Are we going to tell
Norman said
this?
No.
Norman said no, but also this happens after the actual Dawn encounter and stuff.
Wait, was it?
I believe so. I need to double check it, but the player is not playing here. Okay. There we go. So you have...
Oh, yeah, okay, it is after.
You have this whole thing after that.
Gotcha.
Which means on some level that this is something that is not maybe all according to plan.
Interesting.
So,
and I suppose, I mean, the our three main characters, while they're smart, just because you're smart doesn't mean everything goes according to plan. That's one of the lamest, fakest things that anime do when they're trying to have a character be smart, is that they never get surprised. No, you can have characters be surprised, they just have to roll with the punches.
Right. There were also a couple things in this episode that I wanted to bring up as being something that Norman and or some of the other characters are keeping close to the chest. Hold on, let me mute this so that we don't have to deal with that track in the discussion edit here. If you look at when he goes to the bed and he sees like, all this to make sure you don't get killed. And he says, I see, you're amazing, Ray. That's something that while I think we might on closer inspection be able to figure out what was in there, it ties into something rather interesting in that when we have Ray kind of checking in with mom here, again, in terms of timing, you see the, Ray, you're amazing before this, and then she basically threatens his survival chances by saying, the next shipment will be you.
Yeah.
And it's something where whatever now is going to come from Ray has the potential to be a little bit more or less according to his plan
and
than according to the plan that they've been setting up. And then we get the chaos dog basically coming into things.
And yet at the same time, when Norman looks in that, hidden compartment, right? And he's like, I see, you're amazing, Ray.
Right.
No one else is there.
Yep.
That means that what Norman said is what Norman truly believes, right? Yep. And he said that with a smile on his face, not like, damn, you're amazing.
Right.
Like he was happy with how this was going.
Yeah.
So that is also something to keep in mind.
Also, Ray is not in the group with Krone because he's meeting with Mom at the moment, or he was just meeting with Mom at the moment.
Right.
Which,
I guess that's supposed to be how, because they were saying Ray can stall her, so maybe that's how he's supposed to keep them from, keep Mom from looking at the tracking devices.
Yeah.
But okay, that makes me think that the time frame for what they're working with is very small. Like, what is this plan that they're going to be doing exactly? Like, is it just to meet up with Krone and then go back to the house like nothing happened? Or is it like, we're going to do that, and then right after, we're going to do A, B, C that Mom absolutely cannot see?
Right, because what I see it as is basically the whole herbicide, all that stuff, it's muda des. It's actually just meaningless. It's maybe to make her think that, yes, he's going to try and poison you. Sure. A good misdirect. It means nothing, though. But the idea that they're then going out to then go and test basically the, the whole thing.
That Krone was watching.
Yeah. But it's like, but even if we leave Ray to deal with Mom, what about Sister? It's like, yeah, if she finds out, we'll be shipped out immediately, right?
Well, and don't worry, I have an idea. It's
exactly.
Like,
basically giving the... we've got this. And code for, okay, get ready. It's about time. And then she's right there. And this is something that I love that they set it up in that it's genuinely terrifying because you're like, oh my God, she did beat them at the hide and seek game.
Well, and also the idea that who knows what she'll do. Because the thing is that Mom is more predictable. Mom is more predictable because she has her neck on the line in that she needs to keep these crops going, right? Everything needs to keep running smoothly. Right. With Krone, less so. And in fact, because she doesn't want Mom to be Mom, if she messed up some of the crops, right?
Yeah.
That could potentially shine badly on Mom, and that could be her way of trying to get at Mom. Who knows? I don't think, I think that would be a pretty desperate
I think it'd be hard
move
for her to spin that, especially since the...
Since she's the new person that all of a sudden shows up. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But the other thing I think they did this episode that was kind of cool is how Dawn is physically more imposing and strong than the other kids here.
Right.
Krone is the same way. And they do these shots, these specific things that showcase the terror that comes from having a physically stronger opponent in just every way, and we have to outthink them, right?
Right.
It's a kind of a David and Goliath kind of thing.
Sure.
But you think about these monsters, these demons and stuff, right? Like, if they end up getting out and stuff like that, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be basically if we ever encounter one of these things, There is no way we're going to be able to physically deal with it. It's going to be we have to outthink it. We have to, lay clever traps. We have to do these kinds of mental gymnastics before we ever even encounter like this type of a problem. So I think Krone is like a perfect like example of that in that she's almost inhuman in the way she moves and acts and stuff.
Oh, they definitely it just the creepy factor for Krone.
Crank it up to 11. It's
like that part in the opening where she just scoops up a bunch of the kids into her arms. It's like it almost looks like she's about to like crush them all or something. It's
So Promised Neverland.
Yep.
Some cool new things and potentially one of the most like clever like dog chasing its own tail, traps being laid by the protagonists and stuff. Oh yes, I hope it's that, and that in some ways Emma orchestrated like 95% of it.
Yep. Because she's the unpredictable one,
Oh man, and she had the first encounter with Krone, kind of offering her the let me join sides with you.
Yeah.
But
oh boy.
Do you think they're gonna do the thing where they channel a little bit of Ray and go, yeah, let's join up? Just matter of fact, and Krone's just like, wait, what?
Right. I can totally see that happening.
Or they do the thing of like, are you promised not to
basically
to ship us off early?
Well, I think that's more of what they would want to do. Is they would want to feign incompetence, and weakness and all that stuff. That way, since she's the wild dog, she's like, I have my prey right where I want them.
Exactly. And maybe give them one person that is no, I'll resist, but have them, I'm beaten. No. And then they're like, how could you do that to poor Norman or Emma or what have you? Or maybe it'll be Dawn, and Dawn's thing is like, oh yeah, I'm the dumb brute. Yes, I will be the dumb brute and play my part well when I'm actually really smart. And he comes in, he's like, you stay away from them or I'll fight you. And she, kicks the crap out of him.
Oh boy.
And it's all like, do you understand your place here? And they're like, oh, okay. Wink, wink, Right. I want to see the next episode now.
Yes. So it's going to be really good.
Yeah, if you want to see the next episode's reaction discussion right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there, and any level support gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us about anime, about stories, or just whatever. Like Jacob's Battle Lines book. Yeah.
Segue. I wrote a sci-fi novel, Battle Lines. It's amazing. It's got children, that deal with situations that, they shouldn't have to deal with because they're children. And it's wonderful. It's got action. It's got great characters and everything. And it's available for purchase on Amazon. The link is in the description. So go check it out and get yourself a copy.
I've read it. Review. It's pretty legit, y'all. Go check it out. So if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.